Let's take a deep dive into what prayer is and is not and how this impacts our peace of mind. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas to upgrade and impact your everyday life. And in this series, Torah for Today, we take a look at the incredible wisdom that the Torah portion has to offer us for the upcoming week. We're coming up to Rosh Hashana, the high holidays, and a big part of it is the prayers. Now, the prayers on Rosh Hashana, on Yom Kippur, on the high holidays are lengthy. They can be quite intimidating because they're not necessarily words that we know and we're familiar with. Let's try and understand what prayer is, what prayer isn't, and how this can carry us through the upcoming year. In Nitzavim, the Torah portion that's read before Rosh Hashana every single year, Moses starts by telling the Jews, you are standing before God. The Rebbe of Slonim writes that the word Atem is an acronym. For a request we make of God, we ask him to not cast us away, to not throw us away when it comes to us coming to pray before God. We all want God to hear us and to listen to our prayers. So how can we get this request that God not turn away from us fulfilled? Let's first try and understand, what is prayer? What's it all about? So sometimes you'll hear someone say, I prayed to God and I got what I needed. I needed a new job. I prayed to God and I got it. Is that really what prayer is? Is it kind of like an ATM machine that you go to it, you put in your prayer and then you get out what you need? No, that's not what prayer is. If we want to understand what prayer is, we have to understand what Rosh Hashana is all about. The New Year, the Jewish New Year, is not about us. If you go through the prayers, it's not about us asking God for this, that, and the other. Instead, it's about us crowning God as our King. What does that mean? It's a process, and it's actually a prerequisite to prayer. It's a process of understanding and accepting God as our loving Creator, our loving Father who made us, who knows us best, and who wants best for us. And through that, coming to understand and accept what God is giving us. And that's what prayer really is. It's that introspective process where we come to accept and understand God as our loving Father who knows best for us and who will take us where we need to be taken. What does this mean? Is this a very passive approach to life? No, absolutely not. But it's really the key to peace of mind, to serenity. And I'll explain to you how. When Rabbi Pesach Krohn was a young teenager, his father was very, very sick. And one day his rabbi came over to him and said, how's your father doing? And Rabbi Pesach Krohn, who was a child at that time, 19, his father was very, very sick, turned around to him and said, I have faith in God. It's all going to be okay. Now his teacher, his rabbi, was very smart, and he realized the situation that unfortunately the father was very, very sick and may not make a recovery. And he turned to Rav Pesach Krohn and he said, that's not what faith is. Faith is not saying it's all going to be okay, because usually when we say it's all going to be okay, what we mean is it's going to be good, it's going to work out good, and it will work out good. So what is faith? What does that mean? He told him, what is faith? And this really is the key to accessing that calmness, that peace of mind, is knowing that whatever God sends to us is there to help us become better and that we can make it meaningful. This past week, a good friend of ours was visiting and he shared with us the most inspiring story idea. He was telling us about his life journey. And a number of years ago, he went through the most difficult, painful divorce. And we were talking to him about it. And he made a comment. He said, God never gives you something that you can't handle. And my husband turned to him and said to him, is that what you feel? And he said to us, he said, had you asked me that years ago while I was going through the divorce, I would have said, no, I don't believe that. Because at the time, I felt like it was too hard. I felt like I couldn't handle it. But he says now, 5, 6, 7, 8 years past that, I do say that because I recognize that that journey that I went through made me who I am. That really is faith. This is what gives us peace of mind, knowing that God is our loving creator, that only sends us what is best for us, and that whatever God sends us, we can make meaningful. And this is the prerequisite to prayer. When we go through that introspective process and accept God as that loving creator presence in our life, accept that he knows best and accept that he will give us what is good for us, and ask God for the help that we need in order to become the best that we can. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for listening to the podcast throughout the year. And I want to wish you and your loved ones a year filled with health, with happiness, with blessings for the upcoming year, and a year where you really can tap into and make the most meaningful life for yourself this year. Thank you for being one of the over 20,000 listeners of this podcast. Thank you for pushing us to the very top Jewish podcast worldwide. If you'd like to connect with Gila Ross, please get in touch via email gilaross@gmail.com, or on Instagram you can find her at It's Gila Ross. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out.